Haman basked in his elevated position. He was the king's right-hand man. His pride knew no bounds. He expected everyone to bow before him, but one man dared to defy him. Mordecai, a Jew, refused to kneel. Haman burned with indignation. His fury grew with each passing day. He craved revenge. Mordecai's refusal was not an act of rebellion. It was an act of faith. He would bow to no man but God. His faith infuriated Haman. Haman saw an opportunity. He would use Mordecai's defiance to achieve a wicked goal. He would exterminate the entire Jewish population. Haman's hatred knew no bounds. He plotted their annihilation with cold, calculating precision. But Mordecai stood firm. His faith was unshakable. He rallied his people, urging them to trust in their God. Together they prayed for deliverance. Their faith would be their shield against Haman's evil plans. Haman approached the king with a cunning plan. He spoke of a disobedient people who threatened the kingdom's stability. He spoke of the Jews without naming them. The king, oblivious to Haman's true intentions, granted his request. A decree was issued. The decree authorized the extermination of the Jews. It detailed that on a specific day, all Jews, young and old, women and children, were to be killed and their possessions plundered. The wheels of fate began to turn. Esther, a young Jewish woman, was the queen. She was unaware of the impending doom. Mordecai, her cousin, informed her of the decree. He begged her to intervene. Esther was terrified. Approaching the king unsummoned was a risk. It could cost her life, but the fate of her people rested on her shoulders. With immense courage, Esther faced the king. Section 5. The First Banquet. In the grand halls of the royal palace, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The opulence of the surroundings was a testament to the wealth and power of the kingdom. The banquet hall, adorned with golden chandeliers and intricate tapestries, was prepared for a night of revelry and intrigue. Esther, summoning her courage, approached the king. Her heart pounded in her chest as she took each step, knowing the gravity of her mission. She had spent countless nights in prayer and preparation, seeking the right moment to reveal her true intentions. She found favor in his eyes. The king's warm smile and gentle demeanor gave her a glimmer of hope. He had always been kind to her, but this time the stakes were higher than ever before. He allowed her to speak. With a deep breath, Esther began to articulate her request. Her voice, though steady, carried the weight of her people's fate. She knew that one wrong word could spell disaster. Instead of revealing the plot, she invited the king and Haman to a grand banquet. The king, pleased, accepted. Esther's strategy was to bide her time, to create an atmosphere where the truth could be unveiled with maximum impact. Haman, flattered by the invitation, was overjoyed. His pride swelled. He saw the invitation as a sign of his rising influence and power within the kingdom. Little did he know, the banquet was a carefully laid trap. He was unaware that he was walking into a trap of his own making. His arrogance blinded him to the subtle cues and warnings around him. As he strutted through the palace halls, he envisioned his future filled with even greater glory and honor. But the wheels of fate were already in motion, and Esther's plan was about to unfold in ways he could never have anticipated. Section 6. The Second Banquet, Revelation and Rage. A second banquet was held. This time Esther could no longer bear the weight of silence. She revealed her identity as a Jew. She exposed Haman's sinister plot. The king was enraged. He had been deceived. Haman, his face ashen, realized the extent of his folly. He had become the architect of his own downfall. Section 7. Haman's Gruesome End. In the annals of history, few tales are as ironic and tragic as that of Haman, a man whose own schemes led to his downfall. His story serves as a stark reminder of the perils of pride and hatred. The king, upon discovering Haman's treachery, ordered his immediate execution. The royal decree was swift and unyielding, a testament to the king's sense of justice and the gravity of Haman's crimes. The irony was not lost on anyone present. Haman, who had plotted so meticulously to eliminate his rival Mordecai, now found himself at the mercy of the very fate he had designed for another. The court was abuzz with whispers and knowing glances, each person acutely aware of the poetic justice unfolding before them. Haman was sentenced to be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. These gallows, towering ominously against the darkened sky, stood as a grim monument to his hubris. The ropes swayed gently in the wind, a haunting prelude to the impending execution. His death was a gruesome spectacle, a public display of justice. The crowd gathered, their faces a mix of horror and satisfaction, as they witnessed the downfall of a man who had let his ambition and malice consume him. The execution was not just a punishment, but a stark warning to all who might tread a similar path. His pride and hatred had led him to this horrific end. In his final moments, Haman's face was a portrait of despair and regret. The realization of his own folly and the irreversible consequences of his actions weighed heavily upon him. The man who sought to destroy others was destroyed himself. As he was led away in chains, a broken man, the lesson was clear to all who watched. Those who sow the seeds of destruction will ultimately reap the whirlwind. Haman's story is a timeless cautionary tale, a reminder that justice, though sometimes delayed, is inexorable and impartial. Section 8. The Triumph of Good over Evil. This chapter delves into one of the most profound narratives of history, where the forces of good triumphed over the sinister plots of evil. It is a tale that has been passed down through generations, a story that continues to inspire and remind us of the power of righteousness and justice. With Haman gone, the king revoked the decree. This decree, which once threatened the very existence of the Jewish people, was now null and void. The king, realizing the grave mistake, took swift action to ensure that justice was served. His advisors, who once stood by Haman, now saw the error of their ways and supported the king's decision. The Jews were saved from annihilation. The relief and joy that spread through the Jewish community were palpable. Families who had been living in fear could now breathe easy, knowing that their lives were no longer in danger. The streets were filled with celebrations as people hugged and smiled, grateful for the turn of events. They were allowed to defend themselves. The tables were turned. No longer were they helpless victims. They were now empowered to protect their families and their homes. The community came together, preparing for any potential threats. Their determination and unity were evident as they stood ready to defend their right to live in peace. The story of Haman is a stark reminder of the dangers of pride and hatred. Haman's downfall was a direct result of his arrogance and deep-seated animosity. His story serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating how unchecked pride and hatred can lead to one's destruction. It is a lesson that resonates through the ages, reminding us to guard against such destructive emotions. It is a testament to the power of courage and faith. The Jewish people's unwavering faith and courage in the face of adversity were instrumental in their survival. Their unity and resilience were a beacon of hope, demonstrating that even in the darkest times, courage and faith can lead to triumph. The Jewish festival of Purim commemorates this victory. Every year, Jewish communities around the world come together to celebrate Purim, a festival that honors their ancestors' bravery and the miraculous turn of events that saved them. It is a time of joy, reflection and gratitude as families gather to enjoy festive meals and partake in traditional customs. It is a celebration of good over evil. The festivities of Purim are filled with joy and merriment as people exchange gifts and decorate their homes and streets. It is a vibrant reminder of the victory of good over evil, a celebration of the enduring spirit of a community that stood strong in the face of adversity. It is a reminder that God's justice will prevail. The story of Purim and the celebrations that follow are a testament to the belief that ultimately justice will prevail. It is a powerful reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, faith and righteousness will lead to victory. The symbolic scales of justice serve as a beacon of hope, assuring us that good will always triumph over evil.